Yes, sir.
Hi, my name's Christian Pecaut. I'm a Stanford grad. I work at a startup right now.
I'm sorry, you're a Stanford grad.
Yeah.
There you go. Wow. Open forum.
I'm curious about what the effect of, say, a 1% Wall Street sales tax would be, like the Tobin tax, like on that mass of hundreds of trillions of dollars of derivatives. Both like what could likely be extracted from that, what effect that would have on the pace of these derivatives transactions, and then what obstacles are there to implementing such a tax, whether how difficult it would be to regulate, or then from a kind of more political standpoint, who are the actors that are against that, and whether it might help extract Americans out of the crisis in a faster way.
Well, I presume you don't really mean a 1% tax, because 1% of 400 trillion is 4 trillion, and that would be sort of an interesting dynamic. I'm guessing, but maybe you were.
1% on the turnover.
Yeah. What's that?
I'm glad you went to Stanford.
All right, well, I'll stay out of the intramurals. I went to Wharton, so. But look, I would say this. If you're asking a question about a transaction tax, we currently in this country have transaction tax in the securities field. It is set each year to anticipate what the cost of our securities regulations are for the next year. And that's been true for a couple of decades. Well, it changed a little bit after I left the Clinton administration. But so we have, it's a very modest transaction tax, but it pays for the approximately $1.3 billion budget of the Securities and Exchange Commission. That type of transaction tax to pay for the market functioning better and promoting the markets, I've said to Congress all along in my 5 years in the job, I'm completely open, and the President has recommended to Congress that we have something to help pay for our, we're a more modest agency at $195 million. The President thinks we should be at $300 million. I agree with the President. That type of movement I think would help fund us. And to answer your question about how do we get there to get in essence, some transaction fee to cover a $300 million budget, it then gets caught up in all the usual dynamics of, is it called a tax or not? How does it fund an agency? Does the swaps market pay it? Does the futures market pay it? And then all of a sudden you get all the reasons why often in our civil society that the status quo wins out and you don't have something to help fund us. But you might have been talking about something a little broader, a 1% tax, which I think my own view is then you wouldn't get the same economic vitality. I think these contracts, these hedging contracts, not the way Eddie Murphy was using them maybe, but these hedging contracts are vital to our economic success. And I think you want to foster that activity.